जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, 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 जय गिरवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, 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 यमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, 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 जय गिरवरधारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Dhanavad pranam.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Happy New
Hare
Year,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Happy New Year, everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all of you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Hare
Year.
Krishna Prabhuji.
So thank you very much. It's nice to see all of you coming back again. It has been a long break, right? Since 17th of November. I was also traveling, and I had some of you who had joined us at Ayodhya. It was a wonderful experience. We went to Rishikesh, we went to Dev Prayag. We were at the Govardhan Eco Village. It was a wonderful experience. I think everyone enjoyed themselves so much. And yeah, it's back to reality right now. The new year, it's already started. We have already 4 days over, and another 360 more days. Right? So it's really interesting. It's really nice. There's just so much to for all of us to embark on. There's a lot for all of us to achieve this year, and I wish you all success. Right? We just need to have trust in what Krishna has in store for us, because whatever the Lord does, be it good, be it not so good, we will only understand this in time to come. Okay, all we need to do is just have trust. It's easy to say, but sometimes it's good to just sit down and reflect. What were some of the really challenging moments in our lives in the last years where we were feeling like, my God, how am I going to pass the next second, the next 20 minutes, the next 1 hour, the next day? How am I going to pass this? It's such a major pain and such a major challenge in my life. But you'll realize that in time to come, it gets solved. It gets solved. So it's just Earth, Mother Earth, the universe is orchestrating all of this for us. Okay, so once again, the most important keyword is trust. And today we will look at a very simple framework to convince us about lasting positivity. Right? So as we embark on the new year, as we embark into a new journey, we always set up some new goals, some new resolutions, etc. Right? On the 31st of December, everyone was like busy thinking about, what are my resolutions for 2025? What do I want to achieve? What should be some of the goals I want to set up? How many of you had set up some resolutions at the end of last year? Things which you want to achieve this year? Right? Anuj Prabhu, yes. Anyone else? I'm sure all of us have. Right? It's always good to put it down on pen and paper, because when you don't put it down on paper, it's just somewhere, it might evaporate with time, etc. So it's always good to put it down. Okay. But today I'm going to be sharing with you a framework which lets you look at resolution from a different perspective. Okay, from a different perspective altogether. Because when you set up a resolution, there's just so much of positivity in you that, yes, I will be able to do this if I give enough intention, if I give enough energy to this, I'm convinced I will be able to do this. Yes, certainly it's a stretch, right? So the mindset you are bringing into a resolution is that of immense positivity. Okay. But as we get into January, February, March, April, how do you ensure that this positivity lasts? Okay. So that's what we'll be discussing today. Just a minute. Okay. So by the way, this is a very important year where we, the Kumbh Mela is going on right now. It's going to be starting in about 9 days' time. The Maha Kumbh Mela, which happens once in 144 years. So I know of some devotees on this call today who are actually going to the Kumbh Mela. I wish them all the best. Please pray for all of us, right? Please pray for all of us. And we wish you a wonderful yatra. I think the devotees will be there next week, right? At the start of the Kumbh Mela. It's going to be a wonderful experience. I would urge you not just to sit in your camp, but just go around from one camp to another, seeing the sadhus, seeing the sadhus, hearing from them. It's very important when you go to such places to hear, right? It's not an excursion, it's a pilgrimage. It's important for us to hear. Okay. I had two amazing experiences. One was 12 years ago and one more was I think it was like 6 years ago. So Malti Mataji, her sister Renuka, and Cindy, her husband, and quite a number of other devotees, we had all gone over to Prayagraj for the Kumbh Mela. It was a wonderful experience. It was so wonderful that I got so sick. It was so wonderful. I got really very, very sick at the end of it. Okay, the weather was just so cold. Okay, so let's continue with our class. All right. Let's begin with the Mangala Charan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishnan Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhae Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. So before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan. onto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, onto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and onto Srila Vyasadev, the author. Nasta Prayasva Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Okay, just by attending classes on Bhagavatam, reading the verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam on a daily basis, rendering of service to pure devotees, everything which is painful in the heart will get destroyed. Okay, we need trust in that. So, as all of you would realize, we have started a new series on a daily basis, right? Anuj Prabhu, myself, we will send you a short 4.5-minute video by this very amazing devotee from Bangalore, right? So essentially the entire agenda is to fortify our resolution, fortify our thirst for chanting the Maha Mantra. Okay, so he's providing us with justifications. We don't need justifications, we need trust. But what he's doing is he's explaining to you how others have actually benefited from chanting the Maha Mantra. What is the strength of the Maha Mantra? What can it do for us? Right? So on a daily basis, you will receive that video, and we are also trying to make a short summary of it. I'll be very truthful to you. Nowadays, it's easy to make summaries using AI. So the last few days, I've been leveraging AI to make summaries. I've also requested some of you, if you'd like to volunteer, thank you very much. So, the right way to do it is to listen and then put it down as a wonderful summary. The reason why we want these summaries is because, when you read something after watching it, it just solidifies our retention and it allows us to also reflect on this. Okay, maybe at the end of this year, we would have like 365 summaries, right? Which could all be put together into a small booklet for all of us to reflect on. Okay, so for devotees who have volunteered, I thank you. I will come up with a schedule. Okay, so one thing I wanted to share with you is my January and February is going to be really packed with a lot of travel. This coming Saturday, I'm actually traveling to Boston, to my headquarters, Harvard Business School, for about 7 days. By the time I return, it's going to be the following Monday. So I want to ask all of you if we can still continue with the class. I don't have to be there. But what we could do is, maybe one of you could actually put the entire chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam verses, right? So go to Vanipedia or, Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, and then you have like, okay, from next week, you can start with canto number 3, chapter number 26. And then, step by step, you just read the entire verses. And then, maybe Anuj Prabhu can facilitate the discussions, right? So everyone will get a chance to read one verse, just the translation of the verse in English, right? And then maybe after 4 to 5 verses, we could just take a short break, and then one of you could summarize it, and then maybe some of you can share your reflections, realization. Let's make it into a study group. I don't have to be there every week to facilitate a discussion. You guys can actually do it. What do you think of this idea? Otherwise, there will be so many breaks, I'll be frank. So next week, I cannot make it. And then the following week also, I cannot make it. And then I'm traveling to India for work. I'm going to be there for a conference. And then, I'm going to meet my Guru Maharaj. And then I come back, I'm going to Japan again. So there are going to be lots of weeks where we cannot have classes. But, let's just continue. Are you all okay with this? Can I hear some yes or some no, please?
Yeah, this is doable, Prabhuji. We can do that.
Yeah, so no preparations at all required. So one of you will just screen the entire verses one by one. We read it. And then, after 4 or 5 verses, we just summarize what are some of the key takeaways. How do we bring this to our lives? Okay. Thank you very much. Satya Mataji, Bole? Can, huh? All right. Shalini Mataji?
It's doable, Prabhuji. Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Deepa Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so unanimous vote. So we'll proceed with that. So once again, New Year resolutions, all of you have already set it, right? Set up your resolutions. So Socrates mentioned that, the secret of change is to focus all our energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new, right? Take a moment to reflect on this statement. It's not about fighting the old, but it's on building the new. What can I do from now onwards? Right? The decision have already been made, but now let's start with ground zero. What can I do from now onwards? Okay, so that's going to be the basis of the framework I'm going to be sharing with all of you. And I have, sort of lots of confidence that this framework will allow us lasting positivity. Okay, it will help us to make our new year positivity last. And let's look at this holistic approach to dividing our experiences into 4 quadrants. Okay, over at Harvard Business School, we always look at, a 2x2 matrix, right? So this is a 4-quadrant approach. It's not by me. It is by another very amazing devotee called Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. Some of you have met him when he was in Singapore. You have heard from him. So Lalita Mataji, you were there. Shalini Mataji, you were there. I think Deepa Mataji, you were there. Anuj Prabhu, you were there. Right? So he's our spiritual scientist. And somehow Krishna has given him so much of intelligence where he can actually come up with frameworks. Okay, so I'm just using his framework and then adding some points mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. So essentially, it's a 2x2 matrix where we look at experiences and we try to divide them into 4 different quadrants. Okay, so the first quadrant will be the old and unhappy experiences. The second quadrant would be the old and happy experiences. The third quadrant would be the new, upcoming, and happy experiences. And the fourth quadrant and the final quadrant would be the new and not so happy experiences. Okay. So this framework is called the LAST, L-A-S-T. Essentially lasting positivity. So letting go of old and unhappy experiences, appreciating old and happy experiences, seeking out for new experiences, right? And hopefully these are going to be providing you with lots of fulfillment and enrichment. And finally, having the resolute or the resilience to tolerate, right, anything which is coming up which may not provide you with the best experience. So letting go, appreciate, seeking, and tolerating. Okay, I'll give you a moment to look at this matrix and let your mind start synthesizing. Let's move on. Let's look at the first quadrant, which is letting go of old and unhappy experiences. Right? So 2024, some of us would have put in so much of effort, but we realized that the results did not meet our expectations. Right? Or, we had engaged and we have invested so much in a relationship with a friend or with a loved one or with a colleague, etc., but somehow it did not pan out as per our expectation. Okay, so Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada also explains that we need to let go of these experiences and not cling on to these old and unhappy experiences. For myself, I just tell myself, maybe, just maybe, the universe has orchestrated this for me. Right? Krishna has orchestrated this for me, and it's my responsibility to sort of accept it and move on in life and ask myself, what can I do from now onwards? Holding on to unhappy experiences will just keep us shackled to a narrative of pain, and it also limits our ability to move forward. Right? And letting go doesn't mean forgetting it, It simply means accepting it, sometimes forgiving, and freeing ourselves from the emotional charge of the past. And telling ourselves that I have a choice. Okay, I have a choice. I can, accept it and move on. And tell myself, what can I do about it from now onwards? But this notion of I having a choice, it can be only strengthened, or it can be strengthened if we are in the mode of goodness. But if we are in the mode of ignorance, then we will always keep on asking ourselves, we'll always be in this mode of lamentation. Oh, why did this always happen? Why does this happen to me? Right? But if we are in the mode of goodness, then what is going to be happening is, it can strengthen our whole resolution of telling myself that, yes, I have a choice. I can either cling on or I can move on. Right? So I have a choice, and it can be strengthened if I'm in the mode of goodness. Being in the mode of goodness can come about if we are in a clean atmosphere, we are investing in experiences where the entire environment is positive, right? We consume food which is positive, in the mode of goodness, sattvic food. We are around people who are positive. Our home is an environment which is exuding, right, positivity. Right? So if all of this is orchestrated very nicely, then you will realize that you have that resolve to tell yourself, I have a choice and I don't have to cling on. So why is it important for us to let go? Because it provides us with some emotional liberation, Relieving the past pain, it leads to a cycle of suffering. And it's also an element of self-awareness, recognizing that clinging on to unhappiness will serve no purpose. Rather, I would reframe it and ask myself, what can I learn from this? And that's what mindfulness is all about, right? Mindfulness is the process where I'm focusing on the present. I'm focusing on the present because by my focusing on the present, I'm actually, orchestrating the future, right? So focus on the present, look at what are the lessons I can learn from the past, and this will help me in orchestrating the future. That is what mindfulness is. if you look at Prabhupada's entire volumes and volumes of purports, conversations, letters, etc., you will never find the word mindfulness. Okay? But the word does not exist, but the entire process of mindfulness is so well explained by Srila Prabhupada. Right? Where Prabhupada is explaining that, it's about living in the present and ensuring that your mind is focused on Krishna. Right? It's focusing on the Supreme Lord. What can I do as a service to the Lord? So mindfulness, Prabhupada, he's just provided a paradigm shift to the way the Buddhists look at mindfulness. Prabhupada is saying yes, you are aware of the present, but it's about what can I do right now as a service to the Lord? How can I orchestrate my life so that my present moment is like a service to the Lord? Okay? And I find that to be so powerful compared to just being aware of your present moment. Right? And thirdly, why we need to let go? Because the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that attachment to sorrow, it reflects ignorance. Letting go is a step towards wisdom and clarity. Right? So, a lot of philosophers have written that sometimes you just need to go into the forest and then just shout out, right? Just shout out. Or, you journal it down and then you tear away all your, whatever you have journaled about your unhappy experiences. In today's world, there's also this thing called the forgiveness ritual, where you reflect on who may have hurt you and silently wish them peace. Because you're silently wishing them peace is not for them, actually. It is for you because it's healing you. It is not for them. Right? If you are having this grungy feeling against others, you are, constantly like cursing the other party. It is essentially bringing you down. It is not bringing them down. It is not healing you. But the moment you bring about a paradigm shift in your thinking and telling them that, yeah, I just wish them peace and I just want to move on in life. That is my healing. All right? It's good for me. Right? And then if we are engaging in daily chanting the Maha Mantra in a meditative manner, right? This whole process of meditation, once again, Professor Richard Davidson has proven scientifically that the more we meditate, the more we chant, the more, we visualize while we are in a state of meditation, the more we will become peaceful and compassionate. Peaceful and compassionate simply means that you are now beginning to see that all those folks who had caused you harm, actually, number one, maybe the Earth School has orchestrated this for you to learn from this. Another way of looking at compassion is, the people who had caused that difficulty to you, what they must have gone through themselves. What is their upbringing like which have caused them to have such a behavior? What were the entire orchestration of the elements around them to make them behave in a certain manner? Have you even thought about that? The moment you start to reframe it, the moment you start to look at it from that angle of compassion, then it just broadens your own horizon. Okay? Once again, it's not easy. It takes time. And what does Bhagavad Gita says about this? 18.35. And that determination, which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamenting, Moroseness and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O Arjuna, is in the mode of ignorance. Okay, so we have to stand up and get out of that and start looking at the future. I did a lot of speaking. Now I'm going to take a short pause and ask you guys to reflect and maybe share your experience on this. You can just unmute yourself and speak. Anyone?
Yes, Prabhuji. So what you told about, what letting go of the past is very good, because from the past we should only learn, and then, as you said, we should focus on the present, and we should orchestrate our future. So this is what we should be doing from our past and unhappy experiences, rather than lamenting about it. We should do like something about it rather than just lament. So
Exactly.
that's a good point, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Anyone else, some experience where sometimes even lamenting, you realize that, wow, it was just a waste of my mind space, waste of my time. Anyone? After
Yeah.
yes, Prabhu.
Just to reflect back, right? So visiting back home for the holidays in the year end.
Yeah.
So there itself, when you connect with a lot of your relatives and your friends,
Mhm.
it's always connecting back to your old memories, right? So there is this, whenever we want to pause and say, let's think positively, but a lot of negativity comes into the play. So it is a tough thing, but I mean, whenever you connect with anyone, all the things that you remember is where we met, how we met, what we did, what we ate together or relished together. So there are certain things with the people that you're even more closer within the family, comes the negativity a lot more at times, but that's a very tough thing to uh, have that let go thing, right? So, I mean, need
I agree,
to.
Maheshji. I agree. This sometimes takes a lot of practice.
Correct.
It takes practice. Like, I mean, to build a muscle, you have to do it again and again and again. And so wherever the mind is going, you bring the mind back to where you should be focusing. This whole process, basically strengthens our mind further. The whole thing of plasticity of the brain, plasticity of the mind, etc. Yes, um, when you are surrounded by relatives, etc., sometimes we, may go back to our bitter experiences. But I have a choice. I have a choice. I can reflect on, 2 years ago, it was a Diwali Diwali function, and one of my relative, uh, said something which was very hurtful to me. And the instinctive action would be, pop, straight away jump at that person and say, how could you even say such a thing? And I told myself, no. All right. I took a pause and I told myself, no, I'm not going to be responding in a very negative way. I'm not going to be reacting. I'm just going to take a pause, and then I'm just going to relax for a while and not think about it. But let me tell you, it just kept on playing into my mind. But every time it played on my mind, I told myself, no, I'm not going to do anything about this. I am not going to,
Yeah.
and it helped. And after some time, I reframed it as a very small thing. And, yeah, it is the people's loss if they want to behave in that way.
Yeah.
But if we have a good relationship with that person, for example, I can tell my wife, I can tell my children, and sometimes I can even tell my mother, that, I care enough for you to tell you that you are sabotaging yourself.
Hmm.
by saying such things. I care enough for you. I want to tell you that, what you're doing may not be good for our relationship, but you must have that relationship with them already, which gives you the right to speak in this way.
Understood.
Thank you, Mahesh. It takes time, but if we did not understand this concept of letting go, then we would have just reacted in a normal way, out of impulse, etc. But now that we know that, there are times where we just have to cut our losses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
Yes.
About the letting go part. I've sort of learned to let go, so I'm trying very hard. But there are people around us who keep lamenting and talking about the past. And how do we help them? I mean, they keep lamenting and it affects you also. So people who don't want to let go, and if they mean a lot to you and you want them to learn to let go, how can we help them?
Okay. So one thing to recognize is when someone is constantly harping on a negative experience, there's a high chance that they are in a mode of ignorance. Being around them, if you're not able to bring about a shift in their consciousness, that is going to degrade you also. Okay. So if you have a choice, stay away from them, because that negativity, that mode of ignorance is going to be rubbing onto you. But many of them may be our relatives and we have no choice but to be around them. Then if you have already earned the right of speaking openly to that person, what we can actually do in that situation is to explain to them that, I had such a situation, or I went through such a negative experience, and I realized that clinging on to this is harming me further and is not doing any good to me. Right? So maybe reframe it by telling them your own experience of letting go of it. And tell them, why don't you try this? Try it for a week. Tell yourself to let go of it. Right? If you explain by example, maybe it might help. But once again, you need to earn that right to have that conversation.
Yeah, I'll try that. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so that is letting go of old and unhappy, and Krishna has explained in the last 30 verses, 30 to 40 verses of Bhagavad Gita about why this is so important. And then comes this whole principle of appreciating. As we came into the new year, how many of us actually took a time out to express our gratitude to the Lord, to the universe, for all that amazing things which had happened in the last year? All right, did we do that? Ask ourselves. If we have not done it, it's still not too late. It's just the 5th day of the year. Okay. So gratitude really transforms our perspective by shifting focus from what is lacking to what we already have. When we appreciate the past joys, we are reinforcing a positive mindset that carries us into the future. Right? So this is a very, very important exercise, expressing gratitude. Oh, Krishna, thank you very much. I went through those challenges, but this is what I learned. And I thank you for allowing me to learn. I thank you for bringing about a mindset shift in me. I thank you for giving that benevolence to me. I thank you for, okay. If you have not done it, just take a minute now to explain to the Paramatma in your hearts that I'm really grateful for, all the past happy experiences, for the amazing opportunities, right? And for also, allowing me to rise to the occasion, yeah, for surrounding me with people who love me. That's so important, right? Modern psychologists always say that we need to write down, what we are grateful for. It could be small little things, right? For having breakfast on the table, for being able to do Mangal Arati in the morning, for having a spouse who understands me, for having children who challenge me, but they challenge me for my good, right? For for a career, for everything. So important for us to express this gratitude. Okay, so this gratitude, this expressing of gratitude, it also emotionally anchors us. So while we are expressing gratitude, it's also fine, it's not egoistic to appreciate ourselves, for rising to the occasion, right? So for example, I think Anuj Prabhu, you should appreciate yourself for rising to the occasion to summarize Guru Maharaj lectures. It takes weeks sometimes because Guru Maharaj lectures are long, so I'm appreciating what you are doing, but at the same time, I know that you see as a service, but I want you to appreciate yourself also for rising to the occasion. Because acknowledging your efforts during happy times, it builds confidence. And the Bhagavad Gita explains that, satisfaction is a mental discipline. It's crucial for inner peace. Santosh, is that the right word? Santosh, is it? Satisfaction?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. So we need to be santosh. We need to be satisfied, with ourselves too. Right? And then while expressing gratitude, remember this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, 10.41. Know that all the amazing things are actually just a spark of Krishna's splendor. All the amazing experiences which we are getting, they are all just a small little spark from God. So what are some of the tools which you can embark on? Write down on a daily basis in the evening, towards the night before you sleep. What are 3 things which brought me joy and which I'm grateful for? And also reflect on the challenges which you overcame and you are grateful for. And appreciate your resilience, Okay. And gratitude changes everything. Let's take a moment to reflect on and expressing our gratitude. And feel free to, share this if you want. I'm very grateful to my spiritual master because I'm such a rascal, right? But at the same time, he always encourages me. I'm grateful for him chastising me a few years ago. He was in our place and there were many of my God siblings around. And some of my God brothers and sisters were saying, Guru Maharaj, please give us some instruction. And then when it came to my turn, Guru Maharaj said that I'm not going to give him any instructions because last year, I gave him an instruction and he has not carried it out yet. And I was like, my God, I felt really bad that, I made a commitment to my spiritual master and I did not live it. But, his chastisement brought about a mindset shift in me, right? these classes which I'm doing today is because of that chastisement. Some of the other service which we get a chance to do is because of that chastisement. Otherwise, if not for that chastisement, life would have just carried on. I would not have taken time out to ensure that I'm reading the scriptures. If I don't share this knowledge with you, if I don't get into these discussions with you, then I will not even read the scriptures. So I'm grateful for that. So try to see a positive thing out of this, of every experience. Okay. I'm grateful for the constant challenges my children put me through. They are always challenging me, Papa, why don't you see it this way? Right? They are open to me. They always explain to me that you have a very fixed mindset. Why don't you see things from a different perspective? I remember when my daughter was in secondary one, going for her CCA activity. In the morning, I had given her $10. She was asking, Papa, I need some money. I said, okay, I'll give you $10. When she came back at the end of the day, she seemed very happy. So I asked her, so what did you do with the $10? Any balance? And then she told me, I saw a busker at Orchard MRT station. The busker was playing beautiful violin pieces. And I gave that $10 bill to him. And I was like so angry. I said, not angry. I was upset. I said, and I told her, I worked so hard for the money. I gave you $10 and you just gave it away. That $10 was for you. And then she told me, you work hard for the money. Yes, I appreciate it. But look at how hard the poor violinist is working. How many years of experience he would have put in before he could play such beautiful pieces on the violin. You could have easily earned that $10 in a matter of minutes. How many years he would have put in. And I was standing there for the 20 minutes and no one gave a single dollar or a single coin to the busker. Right? And then she continued. She said, Papa, by giving, you never become poor. I was operating from this mindset of scarcity. And then she brought about a mindset shift in me that, no, we need to operate from a mindset of abundance. And I could have easily jumped at her and said that, how can you teach me this? What do you think of yourself, etc. But I took it differently. And I told myself, what can I learn from this? And I'm always grateful to her for bringing about this mindset shift in me. We had a family gathering for her 21st birthday. And I actually, in my speech, I actually expressed this once again to her for broadening my horizon. Right? So that is gratitude. Gratitude is not necessary for God only. It can be to everyone. Right? Even the tea lady or the cleaner in our office, express gratitude to that person because it brings about, it is for my good. Okay. Then Prabhupada says, Prabhupada highlighted that all living beings are maintained by the mercy of Krishna. Acknowledging this creates a sense of dependence and gratitude. And Prabhupada said, we should always feel very much obliged to the personality of Godhead, for he is always anxious to bring us into the happy condition of eternal life, back home, back to Godhead. Right? There's no sufficient means to repay the personality of Godhead for his act of benediction. Therefore, what can we do? We can simply feel gratitude and pray to the Lord with folded hands. This sense of gratitude is foundational in devotional service. Okay, recognizing that Krishna's role as the ultimate provider and protector. Okay, and sometimes Prabhupada, when during his class he will start crying, and he doesn't just express his gratitude to Krishna, but he says, I'm so grateful to all you American boys and girls for assisting me in my mission to satisfy my Guru Maharaj. See, he's expressing his gratitude to his disciples. Okay, time check. Right? And then the third quadrant is seeking out for new and happy experiences. In our Bhagavad Gita classes, we have explained many, many times that the nature of the soul, apart from being Sat Chit Ananda, Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, but we can't see this because of the mud around the soul, right? Because of all the imprints which we have from our bad experiences, our past experiences, lifetime after lifetime. And the third quality is Ananda, which is full of bliss. But we cannot experience that because of that conditioning, right? Another very important quality is that childlike curiosity of the soul. So by nature, we are curious. Prabhupada appreciated this childlike curiosity, and it's represented by the innocent, open-hearted desire to learn. And that's why he encouraged devotees to keep on questioning everything about material existence, seeking answers which are rooted in eternal truths of Krishna consciousness. Because such curiosity will keep the mind focused on God, and it prevents us from distracted by temporary material desires. Right? So, setting up our resolutions, it's about, having a clear intention in wanting to experience new and happy experiences. Okay? So, don't have a fixed mindset, have a growth mindset. Be open to learning new skills. Be agile as far as learning is concerned. Be curious, right? I always like, what Malti Mataji does. She's always so curious to serve others, to learn new way of serving others. That's so amazing. Every time I speak to her, I hear that, oh, she's doing something new, right? And that something new is exactly what our soul is looking for. Okay, so making resolutions and solidifying our determination is exactly the quality of the soul. Don't worry whether the experiences are going to be happy or not so happy. What can I learn from this? And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, being a curious soul, we have a right to perform our prescribed duty. The prescribed duty is based on our nature. But Krishna again explains that you are not entitled to the fruit of action, right? So out of curiosity, you are engaging in new skill development, in new experiences, etc. But it is the joy of learning, the joy of curiosity. Don't be attached to the results. Which means that at the end of the day, right, if something doesn't happen the way we had expected it to be happen, it's all right. At least I learned. That's what Krishna is saying, the joy of curiosity, the joy of learning. That's what 2.47 is all about. Okay? If you forget today's class, everything, just remember Krishna is saying, do the best of your abilities, but don't be attached to the results. Even if something doesn't happen the way you had expected it, know that there is a bigger reason to it. Know that you are learning something from this. Okay? To the Western world, this is like a major paradigm shift. Major paradigm shift. For them, this was like, wow, the aha moment. Last week, I sent you a video where this actor in one of the movies is explaining this to a young soldier. Just do your ability. Just do the best and don't be attached to the results. This is exactly what the blue god Krishna, spoke to Arjuna. Whenever I send you something, there's a reason for it, okay? So watch that video clip. And then Krishna continues that perform your duty equipoised, abandoning all attachment for success and failure. That is what is called yoga. Okay, so we are constantly seeking, don't get into this mode of ignorance, always onto Netflix, always onto mobile phone, um, building this muscle on this finger by scrolling. It's just a waste of time. Learn something new. Pick up the Bhagavatam, right? Yeah. There's just so much to actually learn. Okay? Ken? So this seeking is for personal growth, it's for fulfillment, right? Aligning our goals with the higher purpose. And it's also, to allow us to gain some spiritual insight. So how do you go about it? Right? You can set up your resolutions. Whatever resolutions you are putting down, ask yourself, how is this linked to my purpose in life? Okay. So for example, my resolution is I want to wake up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but why? Then I tell myself, because this is helping me to realize my purpose, which is to link back to Krishna. All right. Then maybe your second resolution might be, I want to read the Bhagavad Gita, at least one verse, or Bhagavatam, one verse. Number 3 could be, if I cannot have prasadam on a daily basis, at least once a week, I will take time out to prepare a nice feast for Krishna and then allow my family to partake in the prasad. Why? Why do you want to do this? Because it is helping me to live my purpose. Another goal could be, I want to have a proper work-life balance. It's not just about gaining promotion only, right? Because at the end of the day, all these promotions, when I'm 80, 90 years old, they mean nothing. They mean nothing, right? You may earn $1 billion, but if you have not spent a balanced life looking at your Sanatan Dharma with your Swadharma, then the entire life is wasted. We will come back again and again and again and again into this material world. Okay. I'll take a pause here to see if anyone else would like to add to this or share some insights. Anuj Prabhu, Mahesh Prabhu, Lalita Mataji, you can take a rest and let others now share their experience or their realization on this. So this is the third quadrant in case you are lost.
Hello.
Hare
Hello,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Good morning.
Good morning, Krishan Prabhu.
Yeah, I think the ladies also tried to say something. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You can proceed, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So one thing on first and second quadrant, I do have some different challenges. But for the third quadrant, I think anything which is new, you can do it as a happy experience. Third and fourth will automatically become happy if you start thinking happy. You don't even have to go to fourth experience. So any new experience, whichever happens, whether it's morning wake up, meeting somebody, or anything, the moment you think it from a happy thoughts, or if you think it from a positive thoughts, all new experience will end up into being happy experiences. That's what I feel. Should become actually.
Very nice. It's what you are bringing into the experience, the mindset
Correct.
of happiness. Wonderful.
Correct. Because
Can I just add one point to this,
Sure.
Prabhu? Because the soul is Ananda, is already having so much of happiness. We don't have to look out for happiness if we approach from the mindset of, or from the heart set of happiness. I like that point very much, Prabhu.
So what happens is, your first 3 points, which you say curiosity, growth, agility, whatever you call it, Just not these three. After you wake up, how do you think your days was, or how was your sleep? If you just start putting things, oh, it was nice, oh, I don't feel bad, then you go to next step, your dincharya or whatever, anything which is happening in your day, interactions, means there are three ways to look at it. Most of the times you can think positive. If it is not even thinking about, just be neutral, don't think negative. Then all your energies are quadrant, at least for the future, you can focus on third quadrant. Unhappy experience can happen, or the fourth quadrant generally will happen once somebody else interacts with you, then you feel unhappy. But if it is your own interaction with the earth or environment or with somebody and you are interacting, you can make it happy. That's your call. But when the fourth quadrant means somebody else is interacting, at that point of time, you can decide whether you want to happy or not happy. That's a choice, because you cannot control how the other person is doing. So my view of third quadrant is it should always be happy. All new experiences should always be happy.
Thank you, Prabhu. I agree because it's from you, right? And the quality of the soul is it's full of happiness. You don't need to seek external happiness for this. Very nice point, Prabhu. Thank you for strengthening that. Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Chitra Mataji.
Okay, seeking new experience, new things. This one, when we think about what can I do next, what can I something different, new things. Once we started thinking about this, mostly we forget the past things. It's good for us. We can think about new things. Don't spend time on the past unhappy things. When we try the new things, we need to seek prayer from the Lord. Please guide me. Please give me the knowledge and the energy, everything. When we start with prayer, most of the time we can able to achieve.
Thank you, Mataji. I
Then,
like this. Yeah.
Then the second thing, appreciation. Appreciate. We have to try our best to start the conversation with appreciate. Even we want to scold our someone or pinpoint their mistakes, but start with appreciation. Appreciate. Just appreciate, then pinpoint their mistakes. Then whatever we are trying to say, we can say the negative things later. Start the conversation with appreciation.
Very nice.
Then the third thing, let it go. Once something happened, instead of thinking why it is happened, what the other people did, why I did like that, just think what is next.
Exactly.
Okay, this is the current situation. What I can do? Once we started thinking about the future, this let it go will be easy.
Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Chitra Mataji. That's a nice segue to the final point, which I wanted to make, which is, letting go, exactly what you mentioned, letting go creates space for positivity by removing emotional baggage. And, and seeking propels you forward and allows you to forget about the past. It's a very, very good point. There was another point which you made. I just lost my chain of thought. Okay. There was another point, Mataji, you made when you were looking at the seek part, the third quadrant.
Yes,
Which
Prabhu.
is when you
Seeking the new
engage in
things.
something new, you are, you are taking away that space for the old.
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly for old things, we focus on negative things most of the time. But if it is new things, even though we know it won't success, but we imagine in a way, if it is success, it will be like that.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. This whole thing of visualization, picturing yourself succeeding in your pursuit, how will it feel, etc. Yeah, actually it helps. I remember I was going through a tough patch in my final year in the university, and the way I overcome that was by telling me that, okay, I'm actually walking up the stage to receive my degree. I use this practice. I told myself, okay, I'm going to be walking up, and that's my final goal. So this visualization exercise helped me in finally, achieving my first degree. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Let's move on, right? So the final quadrant, which is tolerating, these new experiences may sometimes not provide us with the expected happiness which we have, right? But remember, what it's doing is it's fortifying our resilience. What's the definition of resilience? Definition of resilience is our ability to quickly wake up from a perceived failure, right? Perceived failure, not real failure, a perceived failure, because it's all in the mind. So resilience is, am I able to wake up quickly? Am I able to wake up quickly from, and perceived failure? So we need to understand that such experiences will just fortify our resilience. And when I was, head of the organization in Asia, I used to recruit people who have gone through so much of challenges. There was this position I had in India, and there were like three final candidates, all very good. And I went for this Kashmiri boy because during the interview, I actually realized that one night he came back from school and he saw a bomb threat in the form of a letter under his door, right? And the terrorists in Kashmir had essentially written down that if you do not vacate this place by tomorrow, right? Told the father, if you do not vacate this place by tomorrow, your house will be bombed and your family will all be killed. So overnight, can you imagine how much of stress the family went through? Overnight, they had to pack up and leave for Delhi. And that gave this boy so much of resilience. What are the challenges he went through? The moment I heard that, I actually recruited him, after the final interview, and I told my team members that, this guy is going to really soar in the company, right? Soar to new heights because of that resilience he has. Any challenges which he may be faced with, he will be able to say, this is nothing compared to what my family and I had gone through. So a worry which a lot of people have today is this younger generation. Everything is put on the table, on the platter for them. Will they have this resilience? Yeah, everything is done for them. So then Krishna says, if we have a spiritual mindset, then we will realize that actually, these are experiences, and the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. Right? If we are facing a lot of happiness right now, note that, it's great, but it will last for so long. And if we are facing such difficulties at this stage, Prabhu, can you please mute?
Yeah.
I think it's Karuna Mataji's line. Can you just mute, please?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So, just know that even a negative experience in time to come, it's just going to go away. Krishna says in 2.14, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. You just need to tolerate this. I remember when I was shifted to India, my HR person, they selected the apartment for me in Panchil. Very nice place. It was the 3rd floor, and they told us that, HR told us that, oh, it's a nice view, etc. We went in January, very nice. But the moment it was May and June, we couldn't tolerate the heat anymore in the apartment because it was a top floor and the summer, the sun was like shining at 50 degrees on the rooftop, and any type of air conditioning was just not working. What do? You just have to tolerate, right? I still remember my wife will be cooking in the kitchen and she'll just be perspiring and perspiring. Right? What do? You can only tolerate, because in the next 2-3 months, the winter moments will come back again. So, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that in the Shikshastakam, right, the 3rd verse, Trinadapi Suni Chena Tarorapi Sahistunam Amani Namanadena Kritanya Sadahari. So Prabhupada frequently cites this, that one should chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of the mind, thinking ourselves lower than the straw in the street, and one should be more tolerant than a tree, right? Devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respects to others. So I forgot this point which Chitra Mataji was making moments ago. Like, before you embark on anything, right, ask the Lord for blessings. And this is a mantra which one of the Matajis in Singapore, she told me that whenever she wants to embark on something and she's a bit nervous, she will always say this mantra and it works for her, right? Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. So she told me to use this mantra. Every time, I'm going to get into a presentation to my CEO or to a big audience, etc., I always use this mantra. And I tell you what, it always works. It really calms me down and Krishna somehow takes over. If I had done my responsibility of preparing myself well. Okay, so whenever we are getting into something new, something which is challenging, etc., have faith that, whatever the results may be, right? The incarnation of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, will help us because I have asked for his mercy. I have asked for his blessings. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? So, best among men, the person who is not disturbed by this happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So, Krishna is saying that, if we are able to control this, right, then we are eligible for liberation. So this framework, right, is not just about compartmentalizing our experience. It's about weaving them together to create a balanced and fulfilled life. Right? So letting go creates space for positivity by removing emotional baggage. Appreciating reinforces not just our self-worth, but also gratitude. And, it also fosters resilience. Seeking, it helps to propel us forward, and tolerate ensures that we remain grounded and steady during turbulence. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I want to ask all of you, what are some of your key takeaways from today? Thank you very much. It's a nice big group today.
I think the biggest takeaway is letting go, because letting go is the most difficult part to do.
Yes, it is very, very difficult. It's easy for me to put it down as an academic exercise, but in reality, it is very difficult. It keeps on harping on our minds. But, we tell ourselves, what can I learn from this? If I cling on to this, this is just going to be so toxic for me, right? What can I do about this? Maybe, just maybe, Krishna is trying to explain something to me, right? To do something differently. Okay. And use these principles on ourselves. Don't use it on others. As I always warn all of you, never use this karma principle on anyone else. But I can use it on myself. Okay, but using this karma principle on anyone else, it's very, very hurtful. Okay, but on myself, I can say, yes, I take full responsibility for this. What can I learn from this? Number one, what is Krishna trying to teach me, and what can I do about this moving forward? On myself, yes, I take full responsibility. But for others, when they are going through a challenge, it does not give me the right to use this karma principle. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, one more thing to add. One more thing to add on this topic itself. You remember, I think Anuj Prabhuji and you, I had raised somewhere why Brahmaji has to destroy and then create again, which is already a working world at the end of the day. That is the reason which I was not able to still appreciate. I think that reason goes with the fact that to create a new thing, you need to destroy the old thing, or you have to let go to get something new.
Wonderful.
I think that's the linkages which I wanted to bring back.
I like it. I like it. Very nice. You are so self-realized, Prabhuji. Well done.
No, sir, it's all because of few thoughts which comes in, and then I'm able to link the things. And it is not just because of me. If this class was not there, if this framework in front of me was not there, I would not be even thinking about this. So it's all because of some material which you brought, prepared with all the efforts put in. When you're sharing, then the thoughts come to us. Otherwise, we are already busy in the cycle 2 or cycle 3 or quadrant 2, quadrant 3 kind of thing.
Yeah, it's our ability to connect the dots that's so important. Deepa Mataji, anything you like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Uh,
Mataji.
uh,
How was your trip to India?
oh, it was wonderful. Because we couldn't join you, I told Sunil I want to go somewhere this year.
Okay.
So he brought us to Varanasi and Mathura Vrindavan, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Very nice.
So experience was wonderful. Especially in Varanasi, there was no tension in my mind, Prabhuji. I was like a free soul. Just the thought was in the mind was like how to go and do darshan. That's it. That's it. And I'm a restless person otherwise. But wonderful experience, Prabhuji. Wonderful experience.
Wonderful. Sometimes when we go for yatra, right, we can plan until a certain level, and then we should just leave it to Krishna. I remember when we went to Jagannath Puri during Rath Yatra, mind it, we actually left on the morning of Rath Yatra. We reached Bhubaneswar. From Bhubaneswar, it's a 1.5 hour drive to Puri. And on Rath Yatra days, no cars are allowed 30 kilometers before Puri because of the jam at the Rath Yatra. So you have to take public transportation. And I was like in a group of 6 devotees. How do you do that? I cannot be like moving from one transport to another, and then Rath Yatra is going to be starting. Our hotel is so far away, and I just left it to Krishna. Once again, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaksri. And all we did was Krishna gave me the intelligence, just show my passport to the security guys, and they allowed us in. And then Krishna orchestrated in such a way that Rath Yatra was not a one-day affair. It was a 2-day procession. The second day, all of us managed to go down because the locals, the 1 million locals had all gone back home already, and we could pull the Rath Yatra. So sometimes just leaving it to Krishna. You do your best of your ability. The rest, just leave it to Krishna, and he will. Yeah. He has unlimited number of hands. And my request to all of you is, try to take some time out this year to go for a yatra. If you want to go to Vrindavan, okay, there is a devotee, right? So Venkatesh Prabhu is going to go to Vrindavan. There is a devotee who is actually going to be bringing him around. He doesn't charge much. For every day you are there, he will just charge like 20 Singapore dollars or 30 Singapore dollars, But just imagine for one whole day, he's going to be bringing you around, etc. He speaks really good English. This dakshana just helps him to maintain his family, right? So if you are going there, all I want to say is take some time out for this. It's not just about our 9 to 5 job or our 9 to 10 job. It's about taking time out for yourself. Okay.
Prabhuji, you're rightly saying that this, if we are going with the devotee, the experience, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to put, or I'm not saying high things in front of you, but the experience was altogether different when we went with a devotee who brought us, all the important places. And this time when I went with my family, we were lost, honestly. We just know, oh, this is the temple. Though I knew, with you, I went and I knew, okay, this place is. But if I'm saying something, they will think, oh, she's trying to act funny, or she's she's showing off that she knows more. But going with a devotee who can explain things is much better than going alone, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
That's my experience.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So this year I will not be organizing any yatra, because last few years I tried to organize, and there were lots of promises. Yes, we will join you. But finally, only Lalita Mataji came with me. So this year, no yatra. I'm going by myself. If you want to go anywhere, please tell me. I will try to help you to orchestrate this. All right. So with that, we come to the end of our first class for the new year. Hare Krishna. And next week, no preparations required. All you're going to do is you're just going to be coming to the class. All of us will take turns to read one verse. After 4 to 5 verses, one of you will basically summarize and have a discussion on what are some of the key takeaways for us. Right? I think this is important because too many breaks is not very good for our sadhana. Okay? So I'll leave this in everyone's good hands.
Just one more point to add. I think key takeaways is good, but one more thing, how do you implement those takeaways in your life or in your, that is another thing, because yes, there are too many takeaways. Everywhere there is a takeaway or lesson learned, but sometimes the lesson learned, you don't know how to implement those lessons learned in your day-to-day lives.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Yeah, that's
another.
Please carry on.
Yeah, that's where the more important really value of that lesson would be.
Okay, thank you. Yes, when I say takeaway, also it means how do I take this back to my workplace, to my personal life, etc.
Hare Krishna Babuji.
Yes.
Plus 1 hour plus. I was remembering my past times.
Huh.
I think you know something about my past wonderful life, but a lot you don't know yet. I have gone through all these 4 phases. Okay. I've experienced it, and some part of my most difficult part, Malti was standing with me.
Wonderful.
She was my inspiration, and she stand with me in each and every stage. I think one part when in 2009 or 10 you were in Delhi, India. You just mentioned you rented a flat in Panjshir.
Yeah.
Which was hardly 2 kilometers away from the place I was staying, Saket.
Saket.
Yes. So I also experienced each and everything. To let go, to seek, to tolerate. So I've seen a lot.
Wonderful.
If I discuss with you, it may take another 1 hour. So it's all right.
You see, Prabhu, the thing is, because you have gone through so much, no, you have that resilience. And now, frankly, any challenges which comes into our lives, we can sort of handle this.
I can take it easily, Prabhuji.
I worry for the younger generation, because the younger generation, everything is put for them so nicely.
Yes. True. That's why I teach my kids as per my experiences. I make them realize what would happen, how this happened, then you should do this way or that way.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best. The rest they will learn from their own experiences.
I remember, so my father, he was working on the trains, and we had 5 siblings, my mother, and then, my grandmother, who lived in Malaysia. So my father had to support them. There was a point in time when we had to eat broken rice.
Mm-hmm.
Broken rice is like the cheapest rice you can get. But then we appreciated it, but at least there's rice. No?
Yes. Yeah.
So the best rice would be the basmati. Then comes the Thai fragrant rice, then the regular Thai rice. And the broken rice would be then the farmers, they cannot have the full rice. They will be all broken, So those were the tough times. But, it just gave us so much of fortitude that we can go through this, There are people who do not even have that.
True.
Thank you for sharing your reflections and your realizations, and I wish you full resilience, Prabhuji, and to everyone.
Thank you.
Also. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So
One
I'll see
last thing,
you.
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Ankur.
Ankur Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji, as we look forward.
I can't hear you, Prabhu. Can you continue?
Is it better now?
Mhm.
Yeah, so as we look forward for entire 2025, right? So one of our key thing is going back to our classes in the mandir itself, in the temple itself, right?
Yes.
So do you have some idea when this temple will be reopening and we will be able to start our classes? Any rough guidance?
I wouldn't know, man. Really, I
Okay.
wouldn't know.
No, I think if I visited the temple this new year itself, and the temple renovation is still going on, I think it might take an year or so, or almost a part of this year before that renovation. Now they have blocked some more areas. Only very small area is open for the temple.
Yeah.
Entrance.
So I think it was me who was getting optimistic because I read somewhere April 2025. So I thought we are quite near, but that doesn't seems to be the case.
Oh, we can always organize another program at my house. All of you can come over. Or, if any of you would like to hold a program, we can, easily come over to your condo function room or something. Each of us can bring one dish. So there's no stress on on the host. Let's do that, think about it.
Yeah, I think that's something which we need to pull it out during this year.
And then, when the temple is done, I do not know whether the committee is going to be open to opening that place to us. It's a lot of political issues always.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanyavad.